Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pink Panther project, or the Ultimate MGB. I'm making a little bit of a change to the rear end of the car. My suspension guy says that I need some infinite adjustment on there, so I'm gonna give it some infinite adjustment. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is the Panhard bar mount on the axle side, and you can see that I only have 1 inch increments that I have to go to, and I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, I thought, you know, you move the other side up and down where you want it, and then if you really need it lowered, you can change this. But it turns out that you always want the Panhard bar to be at the same angle when you're moving it up and down, which means this shit's gotta go. I got this from Speedway Motors. Well, you know what? I should assemble this first so you can understand what's going on. Let me assemble this and get back to you. Hold on. All right, so there you go. You can see that it has infinite adjustment up and down. I just gotta cut off the old one and attach the new one somehow. Okay, there the mount. It's all in, it's all welded in. It looks really good. Looks like that's gonna work. So it's infinitely adjustable. It's only got like 5 inches of range, but I think that's all I'll need. But anyways, yep, pretty happy with that. Okay, now that I got that Panhard bar mounted, now I gotta move on to keeping some temperature in these tires. When we were at that event in Lincoln, man, the people that were ahead of us, they had tire blankets and stuff. They were, you know, keeping their tires warm. The warmest our tires got were the rear tires. They got 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, these tires aren't even in their temperature range until they hit like 130, 140. So anyways, our old tire blankets, which we used on our Boxster back in the day, they went over the tire and they worked really good, but we can't put them over top of this because the fender is here and I don't really want to cut that away. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a skirt for the car, which is, I'm gonna take this stuff, this insulation, and I'm gonna make it so it just goes right around the car and makes a skirt so it will hold all the heat in. So that's what we're gonna do. And just like that, it's done. That's easy. But it'll keep the heat in the car. We're not allowed to have the car running when we have the skirt on. Not surprised. But anyway, yep. It's certainly better than what I had, which was nothing. Okay, we are out here at St. Andrews Airport, just north of Winnipeg, Manitoba, for the first Winnipeg Sports Car Club event of the season. And this run, it's on an old runway, and it's very narrow. You won't believe how narrow it is. I'll show you. I'll take you out there and walk it with you. But if you're not familiar with autocross or auto slalom or solo, you know, it goes by different names. I'll give you a brief rundown of it. So a course designer will lay out a course or a track using pylons, and you can walk it as many times as you want, but you're only allowed to drive it a limited number of times. So that number could be 3 times or 4 times. I've been with a club that we could do 8 runs on a course, but they'll take your single best time, and that's your time. And it's 1 car at a time on the course, and you zip through it as fast as you can, and try not to hit any pylons. If you hit a pylon or knock over a pylon, it's 2 seconds added to your time for every pylon you hit. So it makes it very difficult to win if you hit a pylon. Because the runway here is very narrow and very bumpy, and it's asphalt, it's nothing at all like the courses that we get at Nationals or Spring Nationals, which is big sweeping turns and concrete, like high grip concrete and smooth. So today is going to be about polishing my driving skills, because my driving skills really have suffered. Since I started running the mod car, my skills really have suffered, because back when I started autocrossing, which is a stock class car, you know, I started off with a Cavalier and then went on to a Porsche 911 and then onto a Mini and a Boxster, and none of those cars had to be messed with between runs. Just make sure your tire pressures are good and you go run. Well, you can really concentrate on your driving when you're in a stock class car like that. But in a car like this, where between runs you're making so many changes, and then each run that you do, you've made changes to the car just prior to that, so you're thinking about the changes you made and stuff instead of the actual driving. So I can't believe how rusty I've gotten at autocross over the last 9 years. I feel like I still have skills in the karts, because I still kart race at Speed World all the time. But autocrossing, it's a different kind of skill set, and I think that I've gotten really rusty. So I'm going to walk the course with you. I'll show you what this course is like, and it's narrow and bumpy, and I'll show you all that stuff. And well, let's get to it. All right, it's pretty windy out here. That's typical of St. Andrews. But here's our track map. We start here and go out that way, through there, loop around, come back. You see how narrow it is. And then we come all the way back to there, loop around. These are really like tight hairpin turns too. All right, well, we'll start walking it. I don't know if the camera captures the this dip here, but that side over there, like there's a dip right in the middle of the screen right here. That dip is probably 3 inches lower than on either side of it, and it runs for quite a ways. That dip runs for quite a ways. And the course designers, I used to be the course designer for this club for 2 years. I did all the courses. It's quite a challenge to build a course around this stuff so that you're not running cars through it at an angle that, like, particularly mod cars like mine are going to bottom out. So when I was doing it, I had the whole runway I had mapped out with problem areas, and it was all measured off, and I knew exactly where they were, so I could design a course on paper before even getting here, and would avoid all these areas. And on the edge of the runway, we have every 25 feet we have these markings, so it helps out. They used to be numbered. They used to be, you know, this would be 125 and then 150, etc., etc. They used to be numbered, so we knew where everything all was, but I guess they're doing that without the numbers now. But anyways, it's fun. I'm not complaining. It's fun. I do very much enjoy autocrossing out here. And then you have like this dip here. There's no avoiding this. Like, this is quite a dip here. There's gonna be no avoiding that. I'm gonna go through that and just you know, clench my teeth. I had to show you this. This is right on the racing line. Like, I'm gonna have to drive my low little car. Look at this. Look at this dip in the concrete or the asphalt. There's like nothing there. That's a pothole. That's a pothole, and that's what I got to deal with on today's run. Hello, good to see you. Okay, one run's down. Car felt really good. I was expecting it to be oversteery because of the stiffer springs in the back, but it's not. So it's a mystery. But anyways, I got my skirt out for the first time. So we'll see if we can keep some heat in these tires. Okay, I hope I can get some good audio on this recording, because I know that last video was really poor for audio. But it's windy, another windy day out here, and the event is over. I got fastest time of the day. Woohoo! Pretty happy about that. That's what I was going for. So the car was phenomenal. I don't know how to explain it, but the stiffer springs in the rear have tamed the rear of the car. Like, I was so aggressive. Well, it didn't start out that way. I mean, I started out on the first run just sort of feeling out the car, because, you know, I did change the springs and everything. I wasn't sure how it was going to feel. And this is kind of a low grip surface, but the car was great, you know, didn't do anything weird. So I got a 52.9, I think 52.9. Yeah. And then I realized I go quite a bit more aggressive. So I went out again on my second run. Oh, and I used my skirt for the first time. That skirt works really good. My tire temperatures by the end were 100 degrees Fahrenheit to start the run. Ambient temperature today is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So the tires were quite a bit warmer than ambient. And I don't have a co-driver today, so it's just me. So there was quite a bit of time to cool off in between. So the skirt definitely helped. But anyways, so I went more aggressive on my second run. And because, honestly, like I've said before, my driving really has suffered since starting this car, because my mind is on the car. My mind is not on the course. But it worked so good the first time out, I didn't have to adjust anything, even think about changing anything. There was no, well, maybe it understeers a little, or maybe it oversteers a little. Nothing. It was nothing. It just drove it. Just drove it. So I concentrated on my driving. I took a second off on my second run, and then my third run, the timing system quit on my third run. It felt really good. Like, it felt in the 50s. Yeah, no, didn't get a time. So then my fourth run was a 50.7. So, like you can see, I just got quicker and quicker and quicker. And then I got a rerun because the timing didn't work, and I got a 50.2. Didn't hit a single cone all day, and you know, it wasn't that the car was getting better. My driving was getting better. That's all it was. That's all it was just my driving getting better. So, man, it's finally coming together. It only took 9 years. That's all to get to this point. But I don't know if I have enough to beat Jeff Kiesel, because Jeff is so talented. He's a very skilled driver, and he's got an amazing car. I got an amazing car, but my driving is... So I'm going to keep working on that, but it sure is nice now that I don't have to do a whole lot of messing around. Like, I'm really looking forward to Spring Nationals now. This is going to be great. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of adjustments necessary. And the car started every time, and no overheating issues, and no funny anything. And I did all that on my low boost settings. Like, I don't know what I'm estimating, but my horsepower is probably somewhere between 250 and 275 instead of my usual 350. It felt very drivable at that. So when I become a better driver, I will turn the boost up. But until I can handle the boost, until I'm man enough to handle the boost, I'm just going to keep it pulled back a little bit there. So, but anyways, I'd like to thank everybody who follows along on my YouTube channel or watches these videos, because yeah, you know, there's lots of you that watch this channel and are interested in this car, and that means a lot to me. And if you are anywhere where I am and the car is, please come and find me, and hopefully I have a moment to show you around the car in person. All right, thanks. See y'all later.